If you look at a map, this land makes no sense. It is a tiny strip of desert, smaller than some islands. It has no vast oil fields, no mighty rivers, no strategic wealth. By all the laws of history, it should have been forgotten 1,000 years ago. Buried under the sand like the empires that tried to conquer it. And yet, it became the spiritual axis of the world. Two peoples, two lands. Bound by faith, scarred by history, and refusing to let go. This is the story of the Holy Land, a place where the past breathes in every stone, where prayers echo across generations, and where hope is a stubborn thing. Jerusalem. They say this city has been destroyed twice, besieged 23 times, attacked 52 times, captured and recaptured 44 times. Any other city would have vanished into the dust. But Jerusalem is not just a city, it is a mystery. It is the heart of 3 billion people, beating in a chest made of stone. It is small enough to walk across in a morning, yet it's vast enough to hold the weight of the world's soul. Here, the earth touches the sky. Judaism, Christianity, Islam, 3 paths, weaving through the same narrow alleys. All claiming this specific rock as the center of the world. The city is divided into 4 quarters, but they share a single heart. For the Jewish people, this is the place where Solomon built the first temple. The dwelling place of the divine. That temple was burned by Babylonians 25 centuries ago, but something remained. The Western Wall. They call it the Wailing Wall. But it is more than a ruin. It is an eternal symbol of resilience. Here, memory is not written in books. It is carved in rock. Prayers are tucked between the cracks like letters to heaven. And tears have washed these stones smooth for 2,000 years. For Christians, Jerusalem is the final chapter of the greatest story ever told. Every stone here bears the imprint of a footstep, Gethsemane, where the silence was broken by betrayal. the Via Dolorosa, the Way of Sorrows, where the cross was carried. And finally, the Holy Sepulchre. Here, millions come to bow before the stone where tradition says his body was laid. Golgotha, the crucifixion, the empty tomb. It is a place where the air feels heavy, heavy with the belief that death was not the end, but a beginning. The Muslim quarter is the largest, a vibrant pulse of life. Bazaars. Voices, the call from the minaret. For Muslims, this city marks the destination of a miraculous journey, the Isra and Miraj. Tradition tells us that from a sacred rock, the Prophet ascended into the heavens. To honour that moment, they built the dome, a golden crown on the city, visible from every corner. Standing as a beacon of faith that has endured for a millennium. And then there is the Armenian quarter, small, quiet, hidden behind ancient walls. They do not seek the spotlight, they simply endure, like a low, steady note in the symphony of the city. Proof that you do not need to be loud to be eternal. But Jerusalem is only the gateway. To find the true origin of this land, you must leave the city of stone. You must descend, down, through the Judean wilderness. Down to the lowest point on the face of the earth. The wilderness is not just a desert, it is a road. As you drive east from Jerusalem, the green hills vanish, the earth turns to dust, and the ground collapses beneath your wheels. You're dropping 4,000 feet into the belly of the earth. It is a land of paradox. Just 10 miles from the bustling markets of the city, there is absolute silence. It was here that the ancient high priest performed the ritual of the scapegoat. Once a year, they would place the sins of the nation onto the head of a goat and send it out into these hills, to Azazel, to the demon of the waste. The goat would vanish into the heat, taking the guilt of the city with it. And some never came back. Deep in the canyons, clinging to vertical cliffs like swallows' nests, are the monasteries, Masada. St. George, fortresses of silence where men have lived for 15 centuries. They came here to do exactly what the scapegoat did, to carry the weight of the world's sins and vanish into the rock. This is Saba. To this day, it remains forbidden. Women are not allowed to enter. The monks here live by the rules of the 5th century. No electricity, no internet, no contact with the outside world. They wake up at midnight to pray. They eat once a day. They are waiting for the end of time. In a world addicted to noise, they are a reminder that if you want to hear the voice of the divine, first you must embrace the silence. But the desert is not just for prayer. It is also for war. Rising out of the salt and the heat is the rock, Masada. It looks like a natural mountain, but the top is impossibly flat, a plateau in the sky. 2,000 years ago, King Herod saw this rock and decided to challenge nature. He built a palace where no life should exist. Swimming pools, bathhouses, storehouses for food, a fortress designed to survive the end of the world. But Masada was not built for luxury. It was built for survival, and in the year 73 AD, the silence was broken. The Roman 10th Legion, 15,000 soldiers. They came for a small group of Jewish rebels hiding on the summit, families, children, the last free people in Judea. The Romans did not attack immediately. They waited. Day by day, they built a massive ramp of earth, tons of dirt and stone, inching closer to the walls. For months, the rebels watched their fate approaching in slow motion, the inevitable, creeping up the mountain. When the walls finally breached, the Romans rushed in expecting a battle, but they found nothing. No screaming, no fighting, just bodies. 960 people. They had chosen to leave the world by their own hand, rather than live as slaves. Today, the mountain is quiet again. The wind has blown away the footprints of the legions, but looking down from the heights, you see the final mystery. The shimmering blue water below, the place where all history eventually flows. From the heights of Masada, you descend to the final mystery of the south, the Dead Sea. The ancients called it the Asphalt Lake. It is the lowest point on the face of the earth, 1,400 feet below sea level. The air here is thick, the light is strange, and the water is not water. It is 34% salt. Oily, viscous, it feels less like a liquid and more like a living skin. But the sea is dying. Every year the water drops by another meter, and as it recedes, the earth fights back. Massive sinkholes, some the size of city blocks, open up without warning, swallowing roads, swallowing resorts. It is a slow-motion apocalypse, a reminder that this land does not belong to us. We are just guests. But the Dead Sea is a dead end. To find life, we must turn our backs on the salt. We must follow the fracture line north, upstream, tracing the vein of water that feeds this entire land, the Jordan River. If you look at it with modern eyes, the Jordan River is disappointing. It is narrow, muddy, quiet, hardly a river at all. But in the geography of the spirit, this is the Mississippi, the Amazon, the Nile. This is the border between the wilderness and the promised land. This is Qasr al-Yahud, an archaeological World Heritage Site in Jordan on the east bank of the Jordan River, reputed to be the location of the baptism of Jesus by John the Baptist. Tradition says this is where the Israelites crossed into the land after 40 years of exile, and centuries later, where a carpenter from Nazareth entered the water to change history. Today, it is a militarized zone. Jordan on the east bank, Israel on the west. Soldiers watch from the towers, but down in the water, the borders dissolve. Pilgrims from 50 nations, stepping into the same mud, looking for the same redemption. But to understand the true age of this land, you must look deeper than the river. You must travel south, into the bleeding heart of the Negev. Here, the earth opens up. Makhtesh Ramon. It looks like a meteor impact, but it is not. It is a wound in the crust of the planet. 40 kilometers wide, 500 meters deep, carved out by rain and wind over 200 million years. Standing on the edge, you feel like you have left Earth. It is a window into the geology of creation. Black basalt, red clay, green gypsum, a cathedral of rock where the only sound is the wind. It is a reminder that long before this land was holy, it was wild. We turn north again, leaving the emptiness behind, and suddenly, green, Jericho. The city of palms. This is not just another city. This is the starting line of civilization. Archaeologists tell us this is the oldest continuously inhabited city on the planet. 10,000 years of life. It sits deep in the Jordan Valley, an oasis below sea level. Joshua fought the battle here. The walls came tumbling down, and high above the city, clinging to the cliffs, is the Mount of Temptation, where tradition says Christ was offered the kingdoms of the world and refused. Jericho is a testament to survival. Empires rise and fall, but the oasis remains. From Jericho, the road climbs back into the hills and hits a concrete reality: Bethlehem. For billions, this name conjures images of a silent night. A star, a manger. But the modern reality is different. Today, the little town of Bethlehem lies behind a 30-foot wall of concrete. To enter, you must pass through checkpoints and watchtowers. It is a city wrapped in the scar tissue of a century of conflict. But inside the wall, the heart of the city still beats: Manger Square. Pilgrims from every continent gather here to duck their heads and enter a tiny door, the door of humility. The Church of the Nativity, the oldest major church in the Holy Land. It survived the Persians, it survived the caliphs, it survived the Crusaders. Down in the grotto, beneath the altar, lies a silver star, marking the spot where the story began. In a city divided by concrete, this star remains a stubborn point of light. But the story does not end in the crib. To follow the life that began here, we must leave the desert entirely. We must go north, to the green hills, to the fishing boats, to the Sea of Galilee. The yellow limestone turns to black basalt, the dust turns to rich dark soil, the thorns are replaced by vineyards, and in the centre of these green hills lies a jewel, the Sea of Galilee, or as the locals call it, the Kinneret. Technically, it is not a sea at all. It is a freshwater lake, the lowest freshwater lake on Earth. If the Dead Sea is where the water goes to die, this is where it comes to live. The geography here creates a natural amphitheatre. The hills rise up on all sides, trapping the air and the sound. It is a perfect acoustic stage. Perhaps that is why, 2,000 years ago, this became the theatre for the greatest stories ever told. On the northern shore lie the ruins of a town built from volcanic rock, Capernaum. This was the headquarters. While Jerusalem was the city of the establishment, Capernaum was the city of the people. Fishermen, farmers, outcasts. You can still walk the streets where they walked. You can touch the black stones of the synagogue foundations. It feels smaller than you expect, intimate. a place where a movement began, not with an army, but with a few fishermen repairing their nets. The empires that rule this lake are gone, the Romans, the Byzantines, the Ottomans. Their palaces are dust, but the fishermen are still here, casting their nets into the same blue water, waiting for a catch. But the lake is only the basin. To find the source of the water and the source of the danger, you must climb. Just east of the Galilee, the earth rises abruptly, a massive wall of volcanic basalt, the Golan Heights. This is a plateau of fire and ice. Extinct volcanoes dot the horizon like sleeping giants. The soil is rich and black, perfect for vineyards. And rising above it all is the Watcher, Mount Hermon, the highest point in the Holy Land, 9,000 feet of limestone and snow. The locals call it the eyes of the country. From up here you can see Damascus, you can see Tyre, you can see the curve of the earth. But Hermon is more than a fortress. It is a sponge. The snow that falls here melts, filters down through the rock, and bursts out at the base of the mountain. The Banias, the Dan. These cold, rushing springs are the heartbeat of the entire region. Without this mountain, the Jordan River would dry up, the Sea of Galilee would vanish. It is the white crown that keeps the land alive. We descend from the mountains to the great sea, the Mediterranean. This is the edge of the map, and clinging to the coastline is the city of ghosts, Akko. For 200 years this was the capital of the Crusader kingdom. The Knights Templar walked these streets. They built massive halls, secret tunnels, and fortress walls that Napoleon himself could not conquer. Walking through the underground tunnels, you can still feel the weight of the armour. It is a city built on war. Stones taken from Roman ruins, used to build Crusader forts, then Ottoman walls, layer upon layer of empire, all fighting for a strip of land, narrower than a highway. But just down the coast, the chaos turns to order. Haifa, rising up the slope of Mount Carmel, are the Hanging Gardens, 19 terraces of perfect geometry. This is the center of the Baha'i faith. It is designed to be a physical representation of spiritual order. In a land defined by rugged wilderness and jagged ruins, this garden feels almost impossible, a vision of what the world could look like if we stopped fighting over it. Finally, we arrive at the oldest door. Jaffa. For 4,000 years, this port has been the entry point. The cedars for Solomon's temple floated in here. Jonah sailed from here to run from God. Armies, pilgrims, and refugees have all stepped onto these docks, and looking north, you see the result, the skyline of Tel Aviv. The ancient stone gives way to glass and steel, the past looking directly at the future. We have walked through deserts of silence and cities of stone. We have seen the scars of empires and the ruins of war. But if you look past the politics and past the walls, you find the true heartbeat of this land. It is not the monuments, it is the people, whether they call it Eretz Yisrael or Palestine, or the Holy Land. They are all looking for the exact same thing. Connection to the past, connection to the divine, and connection to each other. Maybe that is the real secret of this place. The geography forces us together. It reminds us that beneath the different flags and the different prayers, our fears and our hopes are identical. The land does not belong to us. We belong to the land, and perhaps we belong to each other. This story is just one chapter in the history of our planet. There are still thousands of mysteries left to uncover. Hidden cities, forgotten origins, untold stories. If you want to join the next journey with us, subscribe to The Origin and join us, and let's discover the origin of the Earth together.